Okay, a few minutes behind schedule, but here we are, and have no idea if this is going to work, but I'm always game to try anything once, and if it doesn't work, we'll never do it again. So here we are. My name is Peter Beddoes, aka Peter Off the Grid, and I help guide people who are aspiring to live an eco-sensitive, eco-aware, holistic lifestyle from being conventional urban, suburban, and system-dependent dwellers into independent, inner-driven, and successful off-the-grid dwellers. It's quite a difference between the two. And I do that by giving them access to curated information, tutorials, plans, ideas, and mutually supportive interactive community support through membership in How to Live Off the Grid Now. That's really what How to Live Off the Grid is all about. An online organization dedicated to helping members successfully create their own self-sufficient, self-reliant, holistic off-the-grid lifestyle, which ultimately results in them gaining more freedom and satisfaction in their life by living a healthier, happier, greener, more gratifying and secure lifestyle. Okay, so that's kind of the overall encompassing introduction. And one thing I've just realized in doing a Facebook Live, and I hope you're here, can you enter into the comments if you're here? Let me know who's here, and let me know if you actually can see everything and if you can hear everything. And obviously I'm not as organized as I thought I should be, so I hope you'll forgive me, but maybe next time we will be there's a first time for everything. One of the interesting things is I've done a lot of strange things in my life, including bass guitar in a very popular British group. But one of the things that I realized is that in those situations, you always have feedback. You have direct awareness of your audience. And here I am sitting at my desk. The only audience I have is my puppy, my mini Australian Labradoodle, that you probably can't see because she's down here. And so the feedback, obviously, in a Facebook Live comes from the interaction of people leaving comments. And the only way I can check if there are any comments is by going to my computer behind me and having a look to see if there's anything happening. So bear with me for a moment, please. I hope. I don't see anything. Oh, there we are. Oh, my goodness. I got 2, 3. Oh, wow. Fantastic. This is very exciting. Oh, thank you, Stephanie. That's really kind of you to give me some encouragement. And okay, so let's come back to basics. I started this whole idea of getting off the grid, how to get off the grid, because I've had a career, a very interesting and successful career in advanced technology for many years. And ironically, one of the things that I did in the early stages of that career was develop robotic systems. Move forward to today, and you find that jobs have gone away because people like me created robotic systems that eliminated people, or jobs rather. And so I began to think there's got to be another way of doing this. There's got to be a way for people to not be just thrown out onto the scrap heap, because once they had great jobs, like coal miners, for instance. If you look at coal mining, not only were coal mining jobs reduced because automation came in, but now we've got coal miners being made redundant because there is no further need for coal at the level that we once had it. Steelwork is another thing. The irony is, one of the companies I worked for in the UK made furnaces, and we delivered them all over the world. But the problem with that, no one anticipated, I guess. I mean, it was in my awareness, nobody ever said, hey, if we're making all these furnaces all over the world so other people can make steel, will they still want to buy our steel? Well, of course, at some point they didn't, and they don't. So the steelworks closed. And then all the people who worked at the steelworks in the UK and here in the States obviously also found their jobs going away. So one of the interesting things about this whole situation is that the industrial age, at the dawn of the industrial age, there was a big drive to bring people in from the fields because the growing industrial machine needed workers. That was okay up through maybe as close as 20 or so years ago, as things started changing radically. And now we're in a situation where we're still trying to train people to be employees, but the opportunity to be an employee is rapidly shrinking. So we have to find other ways to survive. And my concern is, or has been, that we need to find ways to protect ourselves from those things over which we have no control, and that can affect our welfare radically if in fact they go away. For example, think about what's happened in Puerto Rico after Maria, and what happened in New Orleans after Katrina. All of the fundamental systems and services went down because the electricity went down. So that's why one of the captions or one of the tags on the heading or the banner heading of How to Live Off the Grid says, get independence from electricity. The whole idea being that you need to be prepared as best you can in whatever you're doing to protect yourself against the loss of electricity, because electricity is so fundamental. Just look at what happened in Puerto Rico and look at what happened in New Orleans. Then the other aspect of this is the job market, as I've just been talking about. If the jobs are going away, we need to find ways to keep making income. So the other leg of the How to Live Off the Grid aspect is providing ideas and support for people who actually want to find a different way of making a living. You know, a lot of people now with the internet, we have the internet as a tremendous asset, which means that for many people, the opportunity to create a business is right there, available to them. But how do you do that? So one of the aspects of what I'm putting together here in this organization are tutorials and guides that will show you how you can create your own business and go online and start building your own source of income. The other factor is, how many times recently have you seen reports of food being toxic, being brought back from supermarkets? We've had all kinds of problems with salmonella and those other, I've forgotten the name of it off the top of my head, but you know what I mean. If we're getting our food from the supermarket, then we are going to be dealing with food that's GMO'd, but not necessarily labeled, so you don't know it's GMO. It could be toxic, like the recent situation with lettuce. And why would you want to put yourself in that kind of danger? Now, obviously, not everybody has a vast yard in which they can grow everything they want for their food. But again, in modern technology, we have all these neat ways of growing food. We have aquaponics, for instance. You can create a fairly decent aquaponics garden in a small space that will grow a lot of the fundamental things like lettuce, radishes, and other things of that kind. On a larger scale, you could have a small farmyard with chickens and possibly a cow or two. Rabbits are another good choice. There's all sorts of other ways to protect your food supply. And the fourth leg of all this is our shelter. Who needs to live in a McMansion? We have so many huge houses, especially in California. It's ridiculous. You have houses that are so big with setbacks so small that you could literally shake the hand of the person in the house next door if they're in the bathroom at the same time that you are. Who wants to live so close on top? If you want to live that close on top, why not live in an apartment or a condo? You'd be better off. Now, again, of course, in California, we have the challenge of the cost of land, which is ridiculous, the cost of property, which is ridiculous. But if you have a vision, if you have a desire to actually, or if you yearn to lead a more holistic and eco-sensitive lifestyle that will add to your health, freedom, and life satisfaction, then what are you doing about it? How are you doing anything about it? Have you even thought about what might be possible? So one of the things that I have available on the website in the blog, and actually if you go to the home page of How to Live Off the Grid Now, which is easily accessed, all you have to do is, instead of typing the whole How to Live Off the Grid Now.com stuff, which is a mouthful, just type HTLOTGN.co, not .com, just .co. That's HTLOTGN. And on that front page, you'll find a place where you can get a link to download something that I call a Get Off the Grid checklist. Now, this checklist is in PDF form, and it's fairly quick and easy. But in that checklist, what I've done is I've broken out all of the specific, there are, I don't know how well this will show up on the, maybe that'll work. This checklist covers the 11 specific things that you need to know about, that you need to deal with if you are going off the grid. By the way, I should say, if you haven't signed into the comments, or just let me know who's here. I'd really like to keep track of who's here so I can respond to you. And, oh, okay. I have a few loyal followers. That's wonderful. Thank you. But to come back to what I was saying, the key thing here is we have a checklist that you can get very easily by going to the website and clicking on the yellow button on the top of the website, which will take you then through a process where you can sign up to connect with me. And in connecting with me, you will then get this checklist, which is broken down into very straightforward. It's just a basic coverage. It goes step by step, giving you all of the basics of what you would need to look at if you were in fact going off the grid. And that's what this How to Live Off the Grid is all about. Okay, so this is the first time I've done this, which is probably very obvious. It was much easier, I tell you, playing bass guitar in a rock band than I thought. I thought this would be easier. But it's fun, and I hope you enjoyed watching and listening to it. I really do appreciate the feedback. So if you've got any comments when you do watch the rerun, please leave your comments. That would be really helpful. And one of the key things is, what are the things that you would like me to talk about? What are the things, how can I help you? This whole business, as far as I'm concerned, is how can I be of service to you? What can I do to help you get where you want to go? And how can I do that? So leave your comments, go to the blog, read the blog posts. There are many ways in which we can connect. I would love to connect with you and do what I can to help you achieve your dreams of being off the grid. And since we don't have any, at the moment, we don't have any specific questions that I can respond to from the posts. Oh. Come on. Wow, we reached 165 people. That's pretty damn good. And hi, Paul. How wonderful. Oh, I'm really glad you're here. Thank you. And Angela, I don't know if you're still there or whether you've, maybe you've gone. Anyway, we had Jeff and Linda, and 5 others have connected. So, okay, I don't want to drag this out. I'm sure you've had more than enough to start with. As I say, I'd love to get your feedback. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. It really means a tremendous amount to me. I can't tell you. I really do appreciate it. So, with that, I'm going to call it quits. I wish you all very well. Have a great weekend, and we'll meet again soon. Thank you. Bye.